Hi everyone and welcome back to the Crafty Yellow Camper, and I'm back again today with another window wishes card for you. This time I'm going to take advantage of all these little elements that are included in the stamp set. So if I just lift that up so you can see, we've got a house and a roof, we've got some trees, we've got this sort of bit that makes a road if you like, a bare tree here, and some little snowdrops, snow flakes, balls, whatever you like to call them. Okay, so for this card I've decided to go for a DL card, it's called in the UK. I'm not sure if that has a name. Well, it must have a name in America or other countries, but over here it's called a DL card, and that was inspired by the DL envelope. So actually, yes, you must call it a DL card in the States as well, because otherwise we wouldn't sell envelopes that fit it. So as I said, it was inspired by these envelopes. They're called slimline envelopes actually in the catalogue. You get 15 envelopes and there are 3 colours. So there are some really nice evening soft succulent, I think actually. Soft succulent, there's grey and there's white, and the nice thing about them is that they've got this nice little liner section. Actually it goes all the way down the envelope. Wow. So the grey one has that sort of twiddly bit in it. Let's see what the others have got in them. Oh, they're all the same. They've all got this same bit in, but 15 envelopes. So I decided, as I said, in the UK we call it a DL card, so I decided to make one to fit. Excuse me, I'm just lobbing stuff in a box. I decided to make a card to fit. So what I've actually done is I've cut my cardstock at 19 centimetres by 21 centimetres. So in the UK, an A4 sheet is 21 centimetres wide. It does mean that from one sheet you get one card. Oh, sorry, I should probably tell you I've scored that at 9.5 centimetres. So it's 21 wide, which is the width of an A4 sheet, and it's, what did I say, 19 down, scored at 9.5, and that gives us the slimline card. It does mean that you only get one card out of one A4 sheet, but you are left with these sections left, which are, how much are they? 10.5 wide by obviously 21. So you could fold these in half like that. Excuse me doing it in midair. And that would give you a little note card that is 10.5 by 10.5. There you go. So no need to waste the cardstock. If you're looking at it and thinking, oh, that's an awful lot of cardstock for one card, you've got off each sheet enough to make a 10.5 by 10.5 note card. And sometimes we need a note card and not a full-size card. So I will tuck those away and I will make something with those later. So what I've also then gone ahead and done is cut 2 pieces of Whisper White, or Basic White as it's now called. I can't get my head around the change in the name. And those are cut at 20.5 by 9 centimetres. So again, in the UK, a standard A4 sheet is 21 wide. So if you trim down your A4 sheet to 20.5 and then turn it lengthways and cut it down in 9 centimetre increments. Yes, 9 centimetre increments. And I've cut 2 for this card. I've got one for the inside of the card, so we've got somewhere to write, and I've got one for the outside of the card. So this is the one that we're going to work on, and my base, by the way, is Cherry Cobbler. Okay, so what I thought I'd do, I've just got a scrappy piece of paper here because I've just been trying things out. So what I've done is I've taken these 2 sections here, this one and this one, and I've put them on one block, and you could use all 3 if you wanted to. I don't know if you can see that if I put my hand behind it. I've put them on one block so that I can stamp them together to make my sort of scenery bottom, if you like. So what I'm going to do, I'm just using some Balmy Blue. And I'm just going to stamp along, starting at the left-hand edge of the card. And you can see there is a little gap, but that's fine. This one I'm going to try and line up. It's really difficult when you haven't got your head right over. And then we'll just take a little bit off the edge of the card. There we go. We've got some, I've already stamped and die cut some houses and a car, so some of those things are going to cover those bits up anyway. So that's that one. And then I've bought in the bare branch tree, and I've got some soft suede for that. Now I want to put the trees so that they're sort of behind the houses. So I'm just going to try and work out where I want to put my houses, because the tree is quite a lot bigger, which is fine. Trees are bigger than houses sometimes, but we don't want them to look ridiculously dwarfed. So the houses, that is, by the tree. So these are my houses. I've stamped the roofs in cherry cobbler, and the main part of the house is in Sahara sand. Okay, and I'm going to actually raise those up when I'm finished, but sometimes it's a good idea to put your bits and pieces, just sort of offer them up, if you like, to the card to work out where you're going to put them. So I've got my two houses, and I've got my little car who's going to be driving between the two. Well, at least he will if I can pick him up off the grid paper. Okay, yeah, he's going to be driving along. So do you see what I mean about the fact that you can cover up the joins? Okay, the car has got wheels. I'll show you those in a second. So what I think we need to do then is come in with our tree, and I think I will pop one. Obviously, don't stamp on your houses. I'm going to pop one there because there's a natural gap there, and that tree trunk will fill that up. And it's quite nice to take your picture off the side. Oh, I dropped that there, so I thought that was going to be smudgy. So we're going to go one there, and I'm going to go another one down here. Try not to stamp on my houses. And then I think we'll do another one up on this left hand side, coming off the page slightly. Okay, and then I think we can probably have another one there. And because the branches are bare, you can get away without masking them off. Obviously, if you want to, then do, but that's quite a lot of cutting to cut around all that tree. So as I said, because they're bare branches, I think we'll get away with it. And then what I want to do is come in with this little sort of snow one. It's just like little bobbles. Now, ideally, I'd like a paler colour than the balmy blue, but that's the lightest blue that we currently have. Seaside Spray, which is retired, would have been an ideal one. But I did try Stampin' Off, but that didn't really work with that little stamp. So I'm just going to come in with some more balmy blue, and I'm just going to give us a little bit of snow. Again, when you're doing a scene, go off the side because it sort of gives it more continuity. And we're just going to go in just randomly and go off the top as well. And obviously snow doesn't just stay in the sky, so we'll put some on the ground. Okay, so I think that'll do for that. So now what we need to do is build up our houses and our car. So I'm going to use some mini dimensionals, if I can lay my hands on them on my desk. Oh my goodness me, we seem to have everything, but I know there's some in here because I had them earlier. Where have they gone? Run away. I was only using them earlier, so what on earth have I done with them? Oh, that's a new strip. Okay, well, they'll turn up. I've got rather too much stuff on my desk for finding things. Oh, what are they? Oh, they're full-size dimensionals. I've got dimensionals everywhere. I don't know if anybody else is like me. I start using a strip, I put them down, and I end up then using something else. Okay. I don't know what I've done with the mini ones. I did have some earlier, but these are all big. Oh, no, there they are. They're hiding in the big ones. Okay, so we're going to put some on the back of the house. You could, in fairness, use full-size ones for the house, and in actual fact, I think I will do that because then we won't need to put as many on. And don't forget, if you need to, you can double up with full-size and mini ones, if that's what fits. Yeah, we'll get 2 full size on the back of the house. And then just to make sure that they're not showing, we'll go in with mini ones for the roofs, I think. One there, one there. Yeah, I think that'll have to do. Okay, so let's put our houses on first. Okay, and I bet you £1 to a penny that I probably won't put them on the same place that I did initially, but you never know. Okay, so I think we're going to go with one house here by those trees. So we'll pop his roof on. And obviously this is shaped so that you can fit it over the top of the house. And what you could do if you wanted to was stick the house down and then just raise the roof up. But I'm going for both of mine raised up to give it a bit of dimension, because the background has not really got much dimension because that's just stamping onto plain white. And I think our second house will go here. Like that. Let's pop his roof on. Okay. Now the car. I showed you the main car, which is this. Excuse the state of my hands. Oh, sorry, my low power mode has just gone on. So sorry if that picture went for a bit, then I'm really sorry about that. Right, move it up, Julia. Right, okay, so this is the car, and there is actually a stamp for wheels. And when I first saw the stamp for the wheels, I knew it would be on one stamp because the people at Stampin' Up are kind and they're not that mean to us to make us cut tiddly wheels. But I was thinking, oh, how am I going to stick those on? But when you actually die cut them, they do die cut joined as well. So they stamp on one stamp, and then when you die cut them, they're joined as well, so that you can stick them underneath your car. So it is going to be fiddly, I'm not going to lie. So I'm just going to put the teeniest drop of glue under there. And then I'm actually going to get my glasses out. I don't wear my glasses very often unless I'm doing colouring. But since this is fiddly, I'm going to get my glasses out and a pair of tweezers. And then you should be able to line up the wheels with the bottom of the chassis of the car. We'll find out in a minute if I've done it right, won't we, when I pick it up and turn it over. Okay, it's the other reason for using wet glue, because it gives you a bit of wiggle room. Okay, yeah, there you go. If you can see that. Oh, that one's a bit, that's a bit low at the front. We'll just move that up a little bit. And my glasses have fogged up because it's cold and I'm breathing out hot air talking to you guys. There we go. Okay, right, let's take those off and then I might actually be able to see what I'm doing. Oh my goodness me. Take my glasses off, cause an avalanche. I really need to tidy my desk. Okay. Now, for some reason, that hasn't stuck. That would be because I haven't taken the back off the roof. Dimensional. Oh, come on, Julia. No. The roof is wonky. If you're careful with dimensionals, sorry, I'm off camera, you can pull them back up. Okay. That's our roof. And then our little car is going to have some dimensionals on as well. But again, I'm going to go for a couple of mini ones. Now, I wouldn't normally build this scene up before sticking this to the front of the card. But for the purposes of the video, it was easier to show you as I went along. Now, I think we'll have our car. Now, we don't want to look like the house is standing on top of the car, do we? So I think we'll have our car there, so it looks like it's driving into shot. Okay, let's just get rid of those dimensional backings. I do try and tidy up as I go along. I'm just not very good at it. Okay, so I'm going to use Tombow to stick this on. Okay, and it's also easier to open up your card base so it's not flapping around when you're trying to stick. Okay, so you might end up with a bit of my hair in the shot. Hopefully not. I'm just trying to make sure I've got that level. Okay, let's get that stuck down there. Okay, so that's our scene on the front of the car. Next we need to do something with the inside, and we need a greeting. So what shall we have? I quite like this one. May happy moments and wonderful memories be yours this season. And it's quite big to put onto the front of a card because it's quite deep. Unless you're making I suppose, a portrait card, you might get it on. We've got from our hearts to yours, for lots of joy at Christmas. We've used the Merry Wishes, so let's push the boat out and use a different one. So we'll go for this big one here. I'm just going to grab another block. Oh no, that one's huge. Generally, as a rule of thumb, it's a good idea to use a block not too much bigger than the stamp, because then you don't get the ink shadowing. And after telling you how to do it, I'm going to line my... I'm probably partly off camera, actually. Let's come up a little bit. I'm going to use my grid paper to line up the bottom of the card insert to make sure it's straight, and then I'm going to pop down my stamp. It's worth taking your time to try and get this straight than ruining the card by getting a wonky greeting. Now, what shall we use? I think we might go with our balmy blue. Okay, and again, just make sure it's straight. I'm just going to stamp that on a scrap. Yeah, that'll be fine. I always keep a piece of scrap paper on my desk for doing that kind of thing. Okay, so we've got that in there. That's our greeting. And then I just wanted to add a little bit of something. Got my pencil sharpener down. Oh, here it comes again. Sorry about that. Right, so I'm going to use the bare tree again. I'm just going to stamp 2 in that corner like that. And then we'll just go in with the little snowy bits, and we'll just add a couple of little bits of snow, just so there's a little bit of something in the corner of the inside. Okay, so that's our interior. So that can go in. Managed to get brown ink on the back at least, not the front, hopefully. Oh no, I've smudged it. Okay, well, we can deal with that in a second. So let's get this lined up. That's a good opportunity for me to talk to you about making mistakes like that smudge. I don't know if you can see, there's a little smudge there. So we need to cover that up basically. So what we'll do is we'll go back in with another tree. That covers that up nicely, and we'll just do a little collection of 3 going down the side of the page, and then no one would ever know that I'd smudged it. Okay, so I have got a new product, well, fairly new, that I wanted to try, and this is called Snowfall Puff Paint. Now, I've had a little play with it, and I did notice that if you put it over the colour of an ink, it does, the colour, because our ink's a water-based, it sort of bleeds into it. So I'm just going to add a little bit. It's in the same sort of bottle as the Pearlized Enamel Effects was, or is. It comes out quite quick, so you need to be a bit careful, otherwise you'll end up with a big blob of it. So what I'm going to do is just run a little bit of it under my ink this time. Oh gosh, you can see what I mean about it coming out. It comes out really fast, so you have to be really careful not to squeeze too hard. I'm just going to run under that ink. All right, and then what we need to do is heat it up with a heat tool. Now, I do like to try and do that off camera if I can. So those of you that don't like loud noises might want to stick your fingers in your ears. So I've just got to plug it in and warm it up first. This is a bit on the fly, really. I wasn't going to do this, but I just wanted to show you all. So I'm just going to move those stamps, and I'm going to move that piece of scrap paper out of the way because it's got the puff paint on it. And then what you do is heat it You have to be a bit careful. If you've got too much, it runs. I don't know if you can see what that's doing on camera, but because there was quite a lot of it there, it runs. It sort of doesn't matter when it starts to puff up, because obviously snow doesn't fall in nice neat lines. Come on. It's a bit like embossing powder. Here we go. I don't know if you can see it starting to puff. I'll just heat it. I don't know that you're actually going to be able to catch that on camera, but I'll heat it and then you'll be able to see what happens. Again, I'm sorry for the noise of my heat gun. As I said, it's a bit like embossing powder. Once the heat gun gets warmed up, it doesn't take too long to puff up. And you'll be able to see, I'm hoping you can hear me talking over the noise of my heat gun. You'll be able to see if you've missed any spots, because it will still look like white liquid rather than puffy. I think it's also going to be one of those things like embossing powder that once you've actually heated it and puffed it up, it's probably best not to touch it and give it a little while to dry. I used this in the week on a card. I did a demonstration at a craft club I belong to, and I used it in the week on a card, and it came home dry and in a bag, and it didn't knock off the front of the card. So right, it's just warped that card a little bit, so I might just have to run my heat gun underneath to straighten it out. But I'm just hoping you can see how that's puffed up. Can you see that? Hopefully. There we go, all the way along, and it does get quite puffy. It's quite raised. So that's that. And then it isn't Christmas without a little bit of sparkle, so I'm just going to bring in my Wink of Stella pen, and I'm just going to add, I mean, I could do the puff paint along the top of the car, but because it's raised, that might not work very well. So I'm just going to add a little bit of Wink of Stella and a little bit to the roofs of the houses where the snow would naturally fall. Okay, and on this one. Okay, just to give it a little bit of, so we've got that puff paint for some added texture, and then we've got a little bit of sparkle. I don't know if you'll be able to catch that on camera, but we've got a, I don't want to get too close, otherwise it goes out of focus, but a little bit of sparkle on there. You might have to take my word for that. There, so that's our slimline card using the window wishes. Again, I haven't used the window on this because there are so many lovely elements on this. It's really easy to make lots of different cards with this set, and they're all completely different. So that's my card for today. I hope you like it. And then we've just got that little bit of stamping in the inside with our greeting, and I'll be back soon with another card for you. I think I might be able to squeeze a third window wishes card out for you. And yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Happy stamping, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.